Welcoming Justin Rader here to the program. He's got Zach Church coming up at Legacy Fighting Championship 62, November 11th in Shawnee, Oklahoma. Obviously, there's been some big announcements coming out of Legacy. We saw that Mike Maldonado, the owner of Legacy, is now moving on to be the matchmaker for the UFC. Come January, when Joe Silva steps down, Sean Shelby moves up, and then Mick comes in and replaces Sean Shelby at the bottom half. Have you noticed anything different? I mean, you've been with Legacy, since 2014. Have you noticed anything in the inner workings? Has anything changed at all for you right now?
Nope, not yet, not so far. But I think it's awesome. It's a great opportunity for Mick, and it's a great opportunity. I heard also that Legacy is merging with RFA, and that's pretty cool too. So it's all great for the evolution of the sport, and I think it's awesome. Like all positives so far.
Well, we did see yesterday from the buyout of the UFC that 15% of the staff got released from their jobs yesterday. So some of the people that I know have moved on to other jobs and have been essentially all getting fired, which was what happens when people buy up organizations. But one of the first things that came out of the buyout was the fact that Mick got moved over and that Legacy and RFA were combining, which is showing the growth of the sport, like you said. I know it's tough for you to say because you're trying to look into the future. How do you think that relationship is going to work between Legacy and RFA? Will it just become one big organization where there's a double the amount of promotions, or will there still be a Legacy Fighting Championships card and an RFA Fighting Championships card?
Right. Yeah. And I've wondered a lot about that myself. Like, will they have like almost like a fight off between, champions and everything as well? Obviously all of the, RFA, contracts and Legacy contracts will now all be under, one alliance. And so, it's going to be interesting to see, how it all plays out. I don't know, but or how it's all going to play out. I don't know if they're going to continue to, kind of like hold or run, both shows. It was a couple years back, when the UFC bought the WEC, and how all I think for a while they kind of still ran some WEC shows, and then they eventually merged them all in, and then they brought the 135 division into the UFC, and it was great for the sport. And so looking ahead like that, I think the evolution of it is all great. So it'll just be interesting to see. Like, I have no idea how it's going to all play out, but it'll be interesting, and definitely opening up, like fighting against more different opponents as well, which is always for the sport, it's great.
Yeah, I definitely want to see before they I have a feeling it's going to end up being one big organization by the time it's all said and done. It's going to be one promotion, and what I'd like them to see is like keep two separate promotions until they have established champions at each weight class, and then have the champs versus the champs, and that's the end of it. And then once the whole card, being nothing but champs or interim belts or whatever they want to call them, the whole card, that's what it's all about. And then they go into, okay, that's the end of Legacy and RFA, and now we're one big thing called whatever we call it, kind of thing.
Yep,
that'd be awesome.
A show I would definitely like to earn my way to be on too.
yeah, right. I know that's going to be a big deal. And then the other thing is you have to start worrying about is the television deals, Fight Pass or Access, and where does everybody go, and where do these contracts end up, and it's going to become very. There's a lot of things going on in the background that you and I have no idea of what's actually happening. And it's all up to the lawyers and the managers to try to figure those kind of things out. So, well, let's talk about Zach Church. He's your opponent coming up. You're 4-2. He's 8-2. On paper, looks like a pretty good fight, but I want you to break down Zach for us. How do you see him when you watch tape?
Man, Zach is a tough guy. Zach was a wrestler back when I was a wrestler. Both of us here in Oklahoma. I believe he was third in the state of Oklahoma. That same year, he was wrestling from Sand Springs. He was wrestling 5A, and I was wrestling 3A, and so I got second that year. So man, our wrestling is very closely matched. I remember hearing a lot about him back when I was in high school wrestling. So, he's got that background, and, watching him in his fights, I mean, this guy he was a wrestler. He is mentally tough, and he's been very difficult for anybody to put away. In fact, the only person that's stopped him is the former Legacy champ, Damon Jackson, and Damon Jackson did that twice. So I've watched his other fights as well, and like I've seen him be in bad positions, bad situations, and he's been able to come out through them, fight through them. He's got experience. He's a veteran, and this could be shape up to be a real interesting fight. I like to use my wrestling and I rely on it a lot in my fights. And bringing Zach Church to the ground is probably going to prove to be difficult. Especially if our wrestling kind of like cancels each other out. And so this could really be an interesting fight, as like kind of like his best striking versus my best striking is definitely a way that it could play out. But I'm training hard for it right now, and I mean, we're not the main event, but I really think, like, looking at the rest of the card, that with the way our styles clash, that this could be one really kind of just bang it out right in the center of the ring, and I'm ready for it. I'm excited.
So you talk about coming back from tough positions, like you were talking about giving praise to Zach. You actually had 2 losses in a row where you got knocked out, both 1 TKO, 1 KO, in your 2 losses, and they were pretty significant. One in the first round within like 30 seconds, and then a little bit short of the next one, but it wasn't much shorter. Maybe still right around 30 seconds, whatever. Then you come back in and you finally get a victory. You come back in and get a nice decision win, dominating fashion, a little more conservative, obviously, because you had just been dropped twice and we're trying to keep that from happening. What was the practices like? And I know you trained at Lovato's Jiu-Jitsu Academy in Oklahoma City. What was the training like coming off that second loss, getting ready for the next match? What was it like going through training camp? Okay, we have to settle things down, slow down a little bit, and be a little bit more conservative going in.
Yeah, I ran my body into the ground with training last year. I was trying to make 135 pounds, and it's just not the weight class for me, is what we decided. And so we moved back up to 145, and I felt absolutely fantastic. My camps became all about cutting weight that last year, and it was something I felt like I had to do. It was a weight I felt like I had to fight at, and I no longer believe that. I feel great at 145, and that's where I'm going to stay for right now. And I actually, after that second fight, I missed weight for the ADCC World Championships, which is a pro grappling tournament. And that was it. Rafael, Salo, Shanji, they all sat me down in that room and they were like, look, your body is just broken. It's destroyed. It's not responding. And so they made me take like 5-6 months off where I could come in, I could teach class. I was, I'd help people train, and I was, to basically give myself to the team and make them the best I could possibly be. And they were like, well, when Salo and Shanji and Rafael, they were like, when we're comfortable that you can make a comeback, we will tell you. You're not going to tell us. We're going to tell you. And when we're comfortable, then you're going to make that comeback. And that's exactly what happened. I took the better part of 5.5 months off. I got my mind back into a good place. I got my body, which was, I didn't even realize how bad I had driven it into the ground. And I got my body back into a healthy place. And I worked my way back to that, that fight with Aaron. And yes, I entered, I wanted to have a more impressive victory there, but it didn't happen. Aaron is a tough guy, but I don't think it was a terrible thing to go through a 3-round battle. Now I know what it's like, how my body's going to respond. I can go all 3 rounds and I'll do it better from here on out. And so, yeah, we took things slow, and I listened to my coaches. They told me, hey, we like your progress. We like where you're at right now. We think this is the time you can come back. And so my team was there for me when I was able to make that comeback, and training was great. I got to go out and train a couple times with Ryan Hall as well, and he spoke into my game quite a bit. I've got a lot of new facets that I've been adding, and he's great. He's got, he showed me a lot of really cool things, that I could add, not necessarily to copy, but just to add. And so I had that great fight. I had that great comeback, and then right as I was, still feeling really good, about 3 weeks after that fight, I got appendicitis. And I had to have surgery, and that took me out for, I was pain free after about 2 weeks, but it was about another 4 or 5 week process before I could begin training at that level again. And so I had to work my way back. And, I did that, and I've done that, and I feel great. And there's been no excuses as far as, my body or going into this fight or whatnot. Camp has been perfect. And so, yeah, that was kind of the process. And, I feel like I've got a really good routine and rhythm down now. I'm working even closer with my strength and conditioning coach. And, we actually have scaled things back. Like I said, I've trained myself so hard, and I have that mentality to, and that's why my coaches are there. I will train, and I will train hard and hard and hard, and I will run my body into the ground. So my coaches actually scale back a lot of my training. I do a lot more technique training, a lot more, just kind of placement movement training, as opposed to just hard-nosed, hard sparring every day like I thought I had to do. And man, it has been great. I feel fantastic. Weight is absolutely perfect. Like I don't have it. I'm actually even eating more now, and I'm losing more weight sooner into camps. I'm actually getting down further. So I like to enter fight week no more than 12 pounds over, and then I slowly a couple days kind of keep it there. Then boom, that last day I just hit that last 10 or 12, and it's no problem. Like when I was trying to make 35, I mean I was entering that final week, and I was still like 19, 20 over, and it was just too much of a monster cut for me and my size and stature. So yeah, I give up a little bit of length, a little bit more than I would like at 45, but I feel so much better, and my confidence is so much better being there as opposed to just stressing the whole time about weight. And to be honest, those 2 times I didn't even make weight. I missed it by half a pound the first time, and I missed it by 6 the second time. So not the experiences, sure, not good experiences I don't ever want to have again. And I told Nick, the owner of Legacy, after that second time, I said, like, look, like, we're never going back to 35 again. Like 45, is where I need to stay or whatnot. And he was cool with it, so try to do right by him, because I especially that second time, I really screwed up.
Well, that's Zach Rader getting ready to fight Zach Church. Wow, great to see you coming around, Justin. It's going to be. I actually like you better at 45. I think you're going to be a little bit faster. I agree. You do give up some length, but you make up for it. And obviously now you make up for it in confidence, which you didn't have before when you were there. But now down at 35, you're like, look, it's just not for me. So, good luck. Have fun. Have a great rest of your training camp. And I'll be watching this fight at home for sure. Like, I think it's going to be really exciting. I think it's going to be an amazingly good fight between two high quality wrestlers.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, Frank.
You got it. Take care.